Welcome, everyone. Hey, this is Doug Wilkerson with Central Christian Center here in Joplin, Missouri, and also Saturday Night Live Life Recovery. Uh, Welcome to Life Recovery with Doug. This is our Thursday afternoon talk. I'm running a little bit late. My 4 o'clock appointment canceled, so gave me a little more time. So I did a little more work on it, which added more work. And anyway, anyway threw me a little bit out of time. But hey, no problem. Hopefully, we can get this through and wind up this series that we've been on. Today, we are going to be talking about the power of community. Now, the whole series title has been the three things we must focus on to have an orderly and productive life. We must focus. We talked a lot about focus on faith, focus on responsibility, and then focus on community. And of course, today we're going to be talking about community. Now, quick review. Um, we have already spent time on talking about focus, and the primary um, information that I wanted to give you on focus was that we must focus on what we want. And that may sound strange, but we got to focus on what we want, because most of the time we focus on what we don't want, what we're afraid of, what we're worried about, what might happen. And so uh, the principle of faith and focus is that whatever we focus on, you get more of. It expands; those thoughts expand, and we bring that into our life. So we got to pay attention to focus. So the principle of lost my place here, but we focus on. Let me jump up here and I'll grab it up here. We focus on faith. Faith is the truth of God, on reality of life. What is it you really want? That you are able to grab a hold of and believe and know that that's yours. That's building your house on a solid foundation, on the rock. Okay, instead of sand. Okay, the two builders went out. One built on a rock, one built on the sand. The same storm came on both of them, and it took the one that was built on sand out. Okay, because he built in that soft place and it washed out, and but the one that built on rock stood. And that's what we're talking about, being focused on the truth, on the Word of God, so that you can have a solid foundation. What's your house built on? What's your foundation? Okay, your spiritual foundation. Is it on a rock? That's a good question. We talked about responsibility. Responsibility is taking on those responsibilities that you know that are yours, that you have avoided, that you've tried to get other people to take care of. You know, we have to bear our own cross. We have to pick up our own burden. We have to do our own work. And not just because we have to do that, but it helps us to become who we're supposed to be. It's the difficult times, okay? One of the old things I used to say quite a bit. It's the dictators, the little dictators and tyrants in my life uh, are some of my best teachers, because they make it hard on you. They force you. They push you. They terrorize you in some cases. But you figure out a way, a strategy, mechanism to go ahead and take on your responsibility. Do the right thing. Don't negate your responsibilities. Pick up your responsibilities, because those are the things that make you. Today, we're going to be talking about community. Now, the reason why we're talking about these things, okay, is because we want more order in our life. If we don't pick up our responsibility, if we don't build on the foundation, if we don't get connected to community, we don't have order in our life. We have disorder. We have chaos. We don't have the joy we want. We don't have the peace that we want. We don't have the good life that we want to have. You said, all right, am I guaranteed for a good life? Well, it'll be better than the other way. Absolutely. So we want more order and less chaos. God works on the principle of order and 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 bringing order out of chaos. Okay, so all right, so you've heard it said many times, the statement that no man is an island, even though we we try to be an island, right? Because we want to push ourselves into isolation because we don't we don't trust anybody, so we'll just do it ourselves. But the fact of it is, none of us can survive on our own. Uh, Physically, mentally, financially, spiritually. It takes a group. It takes a community. It takes the ability to grow and to get along with others, even with difficult people. And because I know you're not the difficult one, so it has to be those other guys. So I want to read. Well, we had, and it takes a village. Of course, I think was it Hillary Clinton that wrote a book saying that. But if the fact of it is, it was a better day when we were more community connected and more community oriented, and now we're just moving so hard and so fast, and we're missing out on some aspects of health, and that's what this little talk here is about. We're going now. I got a spiritual, couple of spiritual concepts, couple of spiritual scriptures to help us to maybe shed some new light. You've heard both of them for sure before. So out of Hebrews 10:24 and 25, this is out of the NLT. It says, "Let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works." Okay, the scriptures asking us to think about things, how we can motivate others to have acts of good works, acts of love. Why? Because it works out better for everybody involved, the entire community. Okay, as verse 24. 25 says, "And let us not negate our, let us not neglect our meetings together as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing nigh." Some translations say is the day of the Lord is drawing nigh. That's the day that Jesus is coming back. It's getting closer to. We're closer to the end than we are to the beginning. So anyway, he's talking about here is that we need to make sure that we stay connected because it's real easy to disconnect. It's just real easy. So talking about community, there's something that only community can give us. I know. I have kind of worked against this all my adult life. Well, actually, it was more than my adult life because that's the way preteen. That's the way I was. Okay, but the fact of it is, I'm better than I used to be. Okay, and hopefully, I'm not as good as I'm going to be. So, first point here is community encourages growth. Man, does it ever, if you really stop and think about it. In community, it inspires each other to grow in love, doesn't it? Because it knocks off our rough edges, and their rough edges sometimes rub up against us, and that helps us, inspires us. If we're going to stay in community, we have to learn how to grow in love and good deeds. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Treat them better than maybe what they deserve. But really, it does you good to treat other people well. It helps you, which can uh, which good deeds which can be challenging to pursue alone. You know, it's a whole lot easier, and we'll talk more about this in a minute, but it's a whole lot easier to do a job with other people around. I remember in the very early days, and it's that we used to have a lot of church projects here, and we used to clean out the buses on Saturday afternoon over at 26th Street when we were over there, and we just did. Hard jobs are just easier with other people. Okay, and um, and I'm going to talk about some research on that here in a little bit. So, so we need to encourage others to get plugged in. And I had a lady at church this week talked about she wanted to she wanted to get involved. She was had only been here 3 or 4 weeks, and she loves the church, and she wanted to get plugged in. And we were talking about, well, what do you like to do? And of course, the service was about to get started, so we weren't. It wasn't really a good time. She said, well, we'll just need to we'll need to talk when we have more time. And I said that'd be great, you know. And so anyway, it getting plugged in, getting involved, it helps you to be stabilized, and also it causes you to be committed, and it helps hold you in. Did in my own personal life. So. Um, there's some research that has shown that we are the average of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. So we're like the 5 people that we spend the most time with. This is the research they have. We're like them. So the deal is we need to be selective on the people that we spend time with, because and I heard a psychologist recently saying that, talked about kids spending time, and he said a lot of people think that good kids uh, spending time with kids that are not, or maybe are not so good. He says, and thinking that the good would rub off on the other. He says oftentimes that's not the way it works. I don't like that statement, but that's what he said. And the fact of it is, if we're not careful, uh, it happens all the time, and the good kids have to be really strong to stand their own ground. And so, and the same way with adults, right? You know, you've been around. It's not new to you. So, pick the people you're with. Pick the friends that you want to be, that you would be in your best interest to be like them. Okay. What do you want? Find it and get plugged into it. Um, Question: what do you want to be? What do you want to be? Who do you want to be like? All right. Point number 2: community provides stability. Community helps us. I like what Dr. Peter Jordan Peterson says. He says that the people that we're in community with, they kind of tap us back into alignment. They have subtle ways of adjusting us, and we all have that. We get that in throughout our entire life, that help us to come in line, in far as in our behavior, and our thinking. So it provides accountability. Without regular fellowship, we will oftentimes drift away, and we'll lose out on the most important things that we said that we wanted, because we just drifted. Think about it. Hebrews warns that giving up meetings together will uh, will cause us to lose our focus, and if we're not careful, we could even walk away from Christ, and that would be extremely sad. Point number 3: community offers encouragement in difficult times, and this is really important. Encouragement in difficult times. So many times I talk with people come to my office and they just say, I'm so glad to get just a chance to talk to you because I don't have anybody to talk to. And and that doesn't mean that they're not able to exchange words with people, but they mean more than that. They mean that they're able to be able to communicate, be able to speak authentically, and be able to share what's going on and feel like they've been heard and seen, and it makes a difference. It One psychologist says there's a unseen energy that's transferred when you listen to people. So, and you have to be with people for that to take place. It does something to you. There's a transference of spiritual energy. So, when we're in difficult times, that uh, you know we need we need to have someone there that we can go to, that we being with them makes a difference. I know many years ago, well, I'm going to shift here. I've gone to a lot of people's houses after they've lost a loved one, and sometimes I just sat there with them, and because they really didn't want to talk, and I told them they didn't have to talk, but they didn't have to be alone. Oftentimes, when I do memorial service at the graveside, I try to be, if possible, one of the last one to leave, because when the loved ones drive away from the cemetery, I don't want them to feel like they're leaving their loved one alone. And don't get to do that always, but that's what I want to do. That's what I try to do. And sometimes if I'm riding with the mortuary, they want to go, but some of them know my habits and they're okay with it. You know, they make provision. Sometimes they they have me go in a different car, but anyway, community connection. It's that is so important. Okay, because sometimes that's the thing that brings us through, particularly in difficult times. Fourth point, community strengthens us and protects us. Man, strengthens us and protects us. Just being there. Now, just having those connections. That's what sometimes weddings and funerals and ceremonial functions are about. Is just coming together. I remember a class I took back in the '70s in ministry. It's said that these ceremonial functions, it's not so much the words that are used, it's the feelings, it's the emotion, it's being there that makes a difference. That's what people remember, how they feel. They don't always remember what you say. So um, in Ecclesiastes 4:9 and 12, this is out of the NLT. It says, two people are better off than one. Two people are better off than one. Two together. Two together. Two. There's something in this bonding of two. Bonding, key word. I want to talk more about that here in a second. But this bonding together makes a difference. He says, for they can help each other succeed. When one's weak or one's tired or one uh, has slipped, the other one can help. Okay, now bring them back, hold on to them, encourage them, because we all need some of that. Let's go on. Verse 10 says, if one person falls, the other can reach out and help them. That is so important, so important. But someone who falls alone is in real trouble. I know here a few years ago, I was working on my deck, and I was up in the attic and doing some reinforcement because I was going to be putting up some uh, window screens and also windows, which I haven't got to the windows yet, but I fell. And and when I fell, I hit the railing, and I heard bones crack in my back, and I didn't know for sure what was going on, but I I caught something and broke some of my fall with my arm, and 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 kind of in a way lowered myself down to the deck, and it's about 9.5 foot ceiling. It's higher than regular, and and I laid there for a minute breathing, and then I thought, if my grandson comes out, or my wife or daughter comes out and sees me laying there, it's gonna scare them. So I need to do my best to get up. And then, but it was it was it was difficult to get up, and I don't know if I probably crawled over to a chair and sat there, and I was just trying to breathe and trying to manage the pain. And my grandson came out and he says, "Are you okay? You need something to drink?" And I told him, "Yeah, I really didn't," but it gave him a opportunity to do something, be gone for a minute. But then the next thing I knew, you know, um, everybody else in the house was outside and loaded me up and took me to the ER. Anyway, um, it's, and I know I'm one of the worst. I do stuff alone all the time. I have all my life. Again, I already confessed my sins earlier. That's part of my stuff. So anyway, it says that if we're being alone, we can be in real trouble, and that's the truth. Likewise, two people who lie close together can keep each other warm. But how can one be warm alone? Okay. Of course, nowadays we don't. This doesn't have as much weight as being out on a cold desert, or in snow outside. Um, but the fact of it is, the principle is the same. Verse 12: people, or a person standing alone, can be attacked. So we got one person be attacked. That's the reason why oftentimes, uh, I remember when I was in Nicaragua, Steve Bakos, which is our missionary down there, and we needed to go, back then, this was probably 20 years ago, to call home, and my wife wanted me to call home, and this was back in the early days where the only thing they had was internet calling, and it cost, I don't remember what it cost, but anyway, he didn't want us walking alone, but nobody else wanted to go, and I decided I was going to walk alone, and I think back now, and I thought, that wasn't the brightest thing, but I wasn't, you know, that's what I did. I wouldn't advise anybody else to do that. So, if one person, a person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two people can stand stand back to back and conquer. Three are even better. Okay, three are even better. A triple braided cord is not easily broken. And I did some research here a while back on the triple braided cord, and uh, the importance is the braiding part. Because if you just put three cords straight, of course it'll be stronger than one, and but if you braid them, if you entwine them, they pull together, and uh, it strengthens the unit, makes it multiple times stronger. Okay, they were talking between 20 and 50 times stronger than just three chords. So a triple braided cord is not easily broken. Okay, you can do the same thing with thread, and you can test that out. But be careful, don't get hurt. So, uh, So, but a community provides strength and protection, and not just practical protection, but also spiritual protection. That's so important. And these communities, whatever, if depending on what kind of community you get plugged into, can give you that spiritual covering, touch, guidance, protection. Okay. Research. There's a research project that I remember reading many years ago about students. They were doing this research program, and that the students were um, they had them standing at a bottom of a hill, a steep incline, and they asked them how they felt about it, and they um, and I'm just going to give you the bottom line here. They said that that steep uh, seemed very, very steep, but then they would bring another person there with them just to be with them, and they would ask them, and they, just because they had somebody else with them, they didn't feel as steep. I don't understand, all of that other than just what they said, and that's what they said, that they didn't feel as steep, and it didn't feel as challenging um, than when they were by themselves. I remember another project that some research university was doing, and and this is a long time ago, but it was about monkeys, and they had monkeys in a cage that had a electric grid in the bottom of it, and and actually I don't remember all the research, but it was something along the lines that the a monkey by itself actually could really endure less pain than if it had another monkey in there, which was, they referred to it as his monkey buddy, and that a monkey buddy in there uh, helped endure more uh, by having somebody with them. Concept. Okay. All right. Um, yeah. Yeah. All right. After looking at Hebrews 10:24 and 25, and also Ecclesiastes 4:9 and 12, we see the concept that community is both a source of encouragement, and it's also a source of help. Helps people grow, helps people to be stabilized. It gives them a sense of accountability. It gives them a sense of stability in their life, and that's so important. And if we have these three different areas that we've been talking about these many weeks, that we if we have our foundation built on a solid rock of the truth, if we take on the responsibility, if we don't slack, if we go ahead and do that we need to do, because if you don't do it, it doesn't go away. Okay, it stays there and it seems to grow. Okay, and and the longer you wait, the harder it is. Have you ever noticed that? And so if you take on that responsibility and you get connected to a community, because then the community can help you by supporting you. Because sometimes I've had times that I didn't think I could do it. And I remember a situation where I had a person do me wrong financially and stole a bunch of money, and really made situations bad. And I talked to a man on the phone that I've never met. I heard about him, but I've never met him. And he talked to me because he was a businessman, and he just encouraged me. And he helped me. He made, every time I talked to him, I actually felt better. Okay. Um, and I've thought many times, what was it that he did for me? And I'm thinking that he he was able to talk to me because I took from him that he believed in me and that I should believe in myself. And that helped me. And because it's real easy to quit, it's hard to keep going. Have you ever noticed? And if you give up, you fall back into that disordered chaos mess, and it's then it's harder after that. So anyway, hopefully this stuff was helpful, be beneficial for you. Maybe not all of it, some of it. Find what will work for you. Use that. Set the rest of it on the shelf, and um, we just want you to have a better life, a um, better order, better peace, better joy, a better connection, a better relationship with the Lord. May the Lord bless you and keep you, and may his face shine upon you and give you his peace. And of course, make healthy choices. Till next time, take care of yourself.